For life.
Yeah. Bullet cast. What's going on? Stacy. This elite podcast in here. Ain't nobody better. Look.
Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is I, the microphone messiah, and I am joined by the current reigning defending podcast champion, Mr. Brandon Tanguma. It's just the two of us, OG Bullet Cast. And honestly, I like it this way.
Well, shout out Katie. Katie's got work. We're doing this on a different time. We're doing this in the afternoon instead of at night. So
Yeah.
And then Brian, Brian, we just don't know where Brian is. He's like, where in the world is Brian Tronic?
Oh, I mean, I know his address, but we could put his address into the universe. Maybe somebody will go find him.
Maybe we don't do that right now. Maybe later. We'll keep that in our back pockets.
We'll keep it in our back pockets. Yes. But ladies and gentlemen, big weekend of wrestling. Last week was a big weekend of wrestling, but we're continuing it. Money in the Bank is this weekend. We're going to recap that. Titles on the line, of course, all that jazz. But let's talk about SmackDown. The Usos give a passionate promo saying how family's supposed to lift each other up and they have to fight their family. Roman and Solo come Money in the Bank. The Bloodline Civil War is truly upon us. Or it's happening as we speak. And then after Solo beats the hell out of Sheamus, the Usos give him that double super kick.
Yeah, that was a good, starting promo from the Usos after breaking up with the Bloodline. The crowd was behind them. They're still using the, we the ones hand gesture, so they're not like completely gone away from the Bloodline, but I thought it was a good first step, and obviously Roman will be there this week, and maybe they'll turn it up a notch a little bit.
I think they mean they the ones, as in they the number one tag team in this game, which, quite frankly, they are, regardless if they have the titles or not.
We'll see on Sunday or Saturday. I can't keep it straight. Some of them are Saturday, some of them are Sunday. I don't know.
Only the 2 days no, they've all just gone to Saturdays now, right? This year?
I believe so. Everything has been Saturdays. Now WWE is Saturdays and now AEW Sundays, but then once football runs around, then they're going to be Saturdays. But then what about Collision? I don't know what's going on.
We don't know what's going on. Liv Morgan returns to a nice ovation. So it will be her and Raquel Rodriguez versus the undisputed women's tag team champion Shayna Baszler and Rowdy Ronda Rousey at Money in the Bank for the titles.
I mean, shout out Liv. I mean, what she tore or messed up her shoulder pretty badly, and she's back in a couple months. So she's on that whatever John Cena was taking back in the day. So shout out her.
Yeah,
it's a clear, with the tag team division kind of the way it is, and with a lot of the women in the Money in the Bank match, it's a good feud or match for Ronda and Shayna to kind of build up the credibility. I don't know where they go after that, but the current champions against the champions that never lost it makes sense.
Yes. And then LA Knight. Yeah. Who he's been making the media waves. Go check out the interview he did with Chris Van Vliet. Go check out the one he did on Cheap Heat. LA Knight is in this moment in time, man. He is hot. He is a hot prospect. The fans love him, and he's a bad guy. He defeated Rey Mysterio, got a clean win over him. Attacked him earlier on. Santos Escobar, was coming to the aid of Mysterio, but all in all, the self-proclaimed megastar, the former $1 million champ, got a big win over the WWE Hall of Famer, the GOAT.
I mean, LA Knight is super over right now. I mean, I know we'll probably talk a little bit more once we get into the Money in the Bank predictions on how we see things playing out. I mean, you said he's a prospect, one of the oldest prospects I've ever seen, but that just because someone's a little older and maybe they don't have the, they're not a 5-star wrestling technician doesn't mean you shouldn't hop on the bandwagon and push them.
DDP started wrestling at 35, won the world title at 42. Come on now. Stop playing with us.
I mean, not every single person who wins the Money in the Bank or gets a quote unquote push needs to be pushed to the moon, needs to be the top guy. You give him a little bit of run. You see he's over right now. You see what he's got, how far he can go. I mean, I remember years ago, I was like, I don't know if I ever said this on the podcast, but I was thinking to myself, Titus O'Neil. People love him, love the barking. People like him. He's a likable guy. Give him a little bit of a push. Give him a title match. He's not going to win it, but push him a little bit. Different faces.
Didn't he have a title match with like Rusev or something? Like a U.S. title match?
Probably. I mean, he after post
primetime players.
Primetime players. I mean, Darren Young did the thing with Bob Backlund, and can't really remember what else Titus O'Neil did besides bark and slide underneath the ring apron.
Yeah, Fred Rosser's doing great in New Japan. I think that was a great fit for him after WWE. Yeah, LA Knight, man. Yeah, I mean, I heard this on Sam Roberts' podcast. I think I'll save it for when we talk about Money in the Bank. Outside of the ring, we have some anniversaries. HB Schnizzle celebrates 35 years with WWE last week. He put out a tweet, talking about it. We didn't watch all 35 years of the run. I mean, if you can, if you go on YouTube, and of course the Peacock, the former WWE Network. Brandon, in the 35 years of HBK in World Wrestling Entertainment, what's your favorite moment in matches?
My favorite moment? I probably would say just the most nostalgic, the most closest to my heart HBK moment probably would have to be Elimination Chamber 2002, Survivor Series 2002, first ever Elimination Chamber, just because that was a VHS that I had. I watched it just countlessly. Yes, he might have had the boo-boo short, the boo-boo pants that looked terrible. He never wore them again with the little Dutch boy haircut, but little Brandon wore that VHS tape out for years. And seeing Shawn Michaels overcome, even though I didn't really know what was going on with him, overcoming the back injury and coming back and winning the championship, even though it was Triple H's boy and he's the Reign of Terror ends to. All that being said, that's my moment.
Look, bro. HBK has so much cool factor that he could wear brown tights and have a Dutch boy haircut and still win a world championship. God damn it! You have a favorite match? Your favorite match of the Heartbreak Kid?
Well, I mean, it's got to be one of those WrestleMania matches against The Undertaker. I've always been a little bit of a hipster and kind of favored the second one a little bit more, I will say. But both of them are absolutely fantastic matches. If we're gonna go off the beaten path, the Shawn Michaels. It's not off the beaten path because it's pretty well known. I love that Shawn Michaels Hulk Hogan match. I mean, it's just so absurd, and Shawn Michaels is going to business for himself. It's not a very good match, but if you know what's going on and you just see Shawn Michaels flipping all over the place, it is hilarious. And it's kind of a revert back to like pre-Attitude Era Shawn, or Attitude Era Shawn Michaels, where he's just an absolute dick. And we didn't really get that post Jesus Shawn Michaels, so I find that very entertaining.
I see. Favorite Shawn Michaels moments? I mean, there's so many, man. Yeah, that moment, when he's speaking of the Hulk Hogan, match, that era where, he was a heel for like 3 or 4 months and, in Montreal and tricking them, that Bret had come back in 2005. That was a classic one. I love that. The old yellow promo with Ric Flair leading up to that whole story. And of course, I say it every year on this show, man, that WrestleMania 25. I mean, that it was a perfect match in a lot of ways, man. I mean, just the storytelling and, just Undertaker, showing emotions that he hadn't really shown at all or ever. I mean, it encapsulates, what this craft really is. It is Shakespeare when it is done absolutely right. And, they did it right that night. And then everything, that Shawn would able to elude with emotions like that. I mean, the boyhood dream. I know you don't really like that, but it's a classic moment in his history, in his story, and in the story in history of WWE and things like that. I mean, he's my favorite of all time. I love Shawn Michaels. I'll sing his praises. The way Punk praises Bret, I praise Shawn. Edge celebrated 25 years with WWE. I mean, we know the story. We know the story, broke his neck in like 02-ish or 03 or something like that. Came back and was wrestling on borrowed time, retired in 2011, came back at the 2020 Royal Rumble, do a massive pop. And then, this run has been fun to watch, man. What's your favorite Edge match? What's your favorite Edge moments?
I don't know. I mean, Edge, as I've, said on here, Edge might not be my favorite. He is my mom's favorite wrestler for obvious reasons, but I kind of go back to that Money in the Bank cash in, that heel run with him and Lita. That's kind of one of maybe one of the lasting memories that I have of kind of that later first time I was watching wrestling. And Edge and Lita doing the live sex celebration, and being a kid watching that, and it was just like, what the hell's going on here? What is wrestling? But yeah, and then I come back. I didn't watch WrestleMania 27 live, but I was got into wrestling again in that 2011 run between when Del Rio won the Royal Rumble and faced off against Edge at WrestleMania. So it's fun to see him back. There's been some ups and downs, like the Judgment Day match, that super duper uber long WrestleMania match against Randy Orton that didn't need to happen. But Edge, I think, has kind of proven himself in this last run that he is, might not be one of the all-time greatest of all time, but he's definitely a legendary name in WWE.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Money in the Bank cash in. Yeah, the Vicky Guerrero stuff was really good. I love that. Just Edge, I've said he has the best spear of all time, which I believe that still to this day. Just the way he sits in that corner and like he turns it like into that sadistic, son of a bitch and stuff like that. Favorite match, man. God, man. I don't know. I mean, you can obviously talk about the TLC stuff and things like that, but Edge just had some fun ones. He's had some fun matches. The TLC match with John Cena doesn't. I think that that was a real fun one, and yeah, man. The matches with Jeff Hardy, fighting over the world title, though that was fun. Him and Cena fighting over the world heavyweight title at times. Just really good stuff. Love Edge. Love Edge. Also, it's the 25-year anniversary of the Hell in the Cell, Mankind and the Undertaker.
Yeah, a lot of we're coming up. 1998 being 25 years ago. A lot of Attitude Era 25-year anniversaries are going to be coming up very quickly. And this one's up there. I mean, we didn't watch this live, but we were kind of numb to it at this point just because of how many times we've seen Mankind get thrown off the top of the cell. But I mean, it still just ceases to amaze me, that bump. I mean, it was just a perfect bump that he took off the thing. And it wasn't Shane McMahon at WrestleMania 32. There's no crash pad. He legit fell, 20 plus feet onto that Spanish announce table. And then just, after the fact, and obviously the one from the top of the cell through the cage, and that wasn't supposed to happen, and the chair hits him in the face. And I mean, Mick Foley's just an absolute maniac. And I think at this point, because we've seen it so much, I think we're numb to the match. But I do kind of wish sometimes that I was able to watch that match like fresh eyes for the first time live, just to kind of experience what that was. Because that match it might not be a technical classic, obviously, but just the spectacle of it would have been something to feel live.
Absolutely. I mean, it is one of those moments. Like I was hanging out with some people, and they were talking about that. Just still how it has that impact and everything like that. It's a crazy moment in time, and it's the definition of don't try this at home. I don't know if you would have like an 18, 20-foot Hell in the Cell in your backyard or anything, but just don't try and do this crazy stuff at home.
Yeah, I mean, I remember like I'm going through and watching all the Attitude Era Raws and stuff, and like the feud of Undertaker Mankind, like they built it up and it was kind of a thing, and Mankind and Undertaker at that point, it was his match, and then so Mankind wanted to try his hand at Hell in a Cell. And so you're going into it, from my perspective, watching it 24, 23 years later, it's like, oh, okay, this is going to be like a Hell in a Cell match. Cool, whatever. But you weren't expecting it to be that insane. Like they didn't build it up like that. It was just like, it's another match pretty much. And then that happened.
Yeah. The craziness happened. But shout out Mick Foley for truly just putting his body on the line for this business. It's nothing but respect to him, for real, for real. Inside the ring, Roman Reigns surpasses Pedro Morales' WWE title run. So yeah, it happened 4 days ago. So technically, Roman's held the title for 1,032 days now. But so Pedro Morales was WWE champion for 1,027 days. And then Roman, hit the 1,028 day mark a couple days ago. So fourth longest run in WWE history. That's a feat, man.
Yeah, I mean, shout out Roman, continuing to surpass legends. I don't know who's next on the list. I would surmise that it's going to be a long time before he catches up to kind of the big names. I mean, isn't like Hulk Hogan kind of like the next one?
Hogan is the next one, and that happens September of next year.
Yeah, so we're probably this is going to probably be the last milestone that Roman hits.
We don't know that, man.
We don't know that.
We have a world heavyweight champion now. Like Roman, we could be in for a long haul. I know I talked about WrestleMania 40 being when he drops it, but hey, man, with this going on right now, you never know.
Yeah, and I mean, we might get some of a WWE title reign because this is the Universal Championship, but he's already passed those with the Universal title reign, so it's kind of like, oh, okay, he's done it twice in one reign, kind of. As Phillip is answering, because Phillip is a very important person. He's out here answering phone calls, making money moves behind the scenes.
Yes, of course. Sorry, but yeah, I mean, 1,032 days, an impressive feat for the tribal chief. So I can't wait to see. I mean, no, actually, no. He has to pass Bob Backlund next. I'm sorry, he has to pass Bob Backlund next before it gets to Hulk Hogan.
And when is that?
Let me look. Let's do some research here, people. Let's do some research. Bob Backlund. Let's see. WWE Championship. Because Bob Backlund, like we're going off of that run he had in the 70s. We're not going off of the 1990 3 or 4 run that he had.
One that we had like for a cup of coffee.
Yeah, the one. Yeah. Where Diesel beat him. I think he beat him at a house show, right? Yeah, that's right. Let's see. WWE Championship. Where is the history at? This is great audio, by the way. This is fantastic audio.
It says here for my research that I just did a quick Google search. It says Bruno Sammartino, I believe this is the second reign, was 1,237 days.
That's the second run.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Let's see. The Sportster. There should have been there should be a Wikipedia out there. I don't know why if I type in longest WWE title reigns, it didn't just come up like that.
Yeah,
but it's okay.
I'm looking at it. He beat Pedro Morales already. Let's see.
Riveting audio, folks.
Yes, riveting audio. So I'm looking at it. Beat the Pedro Morales record already. Let's go to Bob Backlund. So it would be 2,135. That doesn't sound right. Or maybe that is how long he held it. So I'm looking at it. Yeah, the next one would be Hogan. Hogan held it for 1,474 days. So if he hits 1,475, then boom, third longest run in history, and then he would have to go on to pass Bob Backlund, if that's even possible right now. But yeah, it's interesting, ladies and gentlemen. We were in an interesting time. Let's talk NXT Gold Rush real quick. Tiffany Stratton retained against Thea Hale. Good match. I liked it. I enjoyed it. You had Dempsey and Gulak out there, causing a little bit of a distraction. And Tiffany was able to roll her up, traditional heel work to retain a championship. And then Baron Corbin brought back the Lone Wolf persona. He looked like a star. Had a great match with Carmelo Hayes. All in all, Carmelo Hayes is still him. He is still the NXT champ.
Shocker. All this Gold Rush action, and we didn't get title changes. But decent matches. I was told this is an AEW week, so I'm taking NXT off because that's what I do.
Oh, if there are big title matches, you have to know we would talk about them. Come on now.
I mean, it's only an NXT.
Yeah, it's better than that stuff on TNT right now. I know what I just said. I'll say it.
I mean, you're right. Rampage is not a very good show. It's skippable. Now, Collision, on the other hand.
I mean, is it must see every week? I mean, it's only been 2. We know the first one was must see. Was the second one must see?
I mean, that tag team match was a spectacle.
Really? I didn't see it.
You missed your boy, our elevator friend, getting booed out of the building.
I heard about it. I heard about that. Hmm. Grayson Waller broke his ankle back in April when he wrestled Carmelo Hayes, which is the reason why he hasn't wrestled yet on SmackDown. All these broken ankles, man. I just God.
Yeah, T's and P's. Grayson Waller, Indy Hartwell out there twinning with their boots on.
Yeah.
But they've kind of found a little niche for him, doing the Grayson Waller effect. And I don't know how much it's helping him just because he's, out there being a background player for some of these other guys, these other wrestlers, but getting his name out there, getting his face and on the main roster. So hopefully speedy recovery, because I do think he's got something.
He does. He does. I like Grayson Waller. I think he's an entertaining performer. I I wish they did a little more with his little feud in NXT with Shawn Michaels. He's like, I'm not a fan of yours. I did like that little route they were going.
Should have had Sean come out of retirement.
Hey man, people thought that was gonna happen, and
Well, they teased it just so heavily. It was like,
they
oh, okay.
did.
I mean, he has to come out of retirement, and then, oh yeah, no, we're just gonna have Johnny Gargano come out and wrestle him, and
Well,
then beat him.
I mean, it made sense, given their history, so it made sense. It didn't make sense.
I guess.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, if you kind of think about it for a little bit. But when it's like, oh, on the surface, Johnny Gargano, Shawn Michaels, best friends.
Well, let me tell you about my best friend. It's a one who loved me till the end. No, you're
Shout
not a
out Rob Big, R.I.P. Big.
you're not a fan.
What do you mean I'm not a fan?
You're
I
not a
love
fan.
that show.
Oh,
I got
really?
season 3 box set at my house.
Wow, look at
Or is it
you.
season 3? I don't know. I have a box set of Robin Big at my house.
I bet you do. All right, let's go to the fan mail, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get this out of the way. Let's see. Robert Walker. Guys, we know that Cody had the best run out of WWE from Bullet Club to AEW. My question is, who had the second best or third best run since leaving WWE? Um, well, you go Jericho and Cardona, right?
I was going back in time even more. You could say Kurt Angle in TNA. I mean,
Well,
Kurt
no,
Angle technically has been like part of TNA more than he's been part of WWE.
well, I think what he means by this is like since Cody left, who had the best? That's what he means by this. So yeah, I mean, you go
Um,
Jericho and Cardona. I mean, Jericho, he went and did the New Japan stuff, and obviously becoming the first AEW champ, and the Wizard, and the Ocho, and Le Champion, and the Ring of Honor title run. And then Cardona's been doing it, man. Like I just listened to an interview he had with Sam Roberts. He's really been doing the thing. The Deathmatch King, the Internet Champ. Steph D. Lander, the former Persia Paradas, accompanied him on this journey now, and she's the Internet Women's Champion and the Deathmatch Queen and all these other things. I mean, they're really doing it, man. He's really raised his equity quite a bit. And Matt Cardona will be out here next month for BTW in Newark, so go check him out. I believe that's July 28th. But yeah, I'd say those two.
I mean, I'd say Bryan Danielson's got to be up there as well. He hasn't done the everything he really wants to do in terms of like going outside of just AEW and wrestling like in Japan and Mexico and
Yeah,
whatever
but
else
like
he wants to do.
it had
But
like he hasn't really like the things, you know what I mean? Like when
but
Cody
he's still
left.
I mean he's still out there having really good matches. And I will say he's not
Yeah,
like
sure, but like
he's just like doing his own thing. He's not like recreating himself. But I I think at this point we're almost I think we would have assumed we would have just immediately said Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks, but I I mean, yeah, she did have the ankle injury against Willow Nightingale, and who knows, maybe she would have been a Forbidden Door this past weekend. But I don't know if I'd say it's a disappointment so far of what she's done, but it's just kind of like, okay, I'm kind of waiting for like the next shoe to drop and for her to kind of make a big splash.
I mean, look, we were there when she won that title. It was a massive pop, huge moment. It was a great start. We just have to wait to see what she does more of. I think we have to wait to see what Daniel or Bryan Danielson does more of. Sure, he's having the great matches, but with these things, like these guys have like really kind of changed the course of their careers. That's what this means. Like Jericho really, really, truly added to that legend status by leaving WWE and doing this stuff with New Japan and AEW. And Cardona, he raised his equity. Like the Matt Cardona brand might be more valuable than the Zack Ryder brand at this point in time. Actually, it probably is.
Oh, the Zack Ryder brand was something about 10 years ago, and then that just got completely stomped out.
I mean, but still, I mean, it didn't get completely stomped out. I mean, let's see. What did he do after the woo woo woo? Won the IC title
the 1 day title reign with the IC championship
in front of 100,000 people. Let's not get that twisted. Helped Kurt Hawkins end his year-long losing streak at WrestleMania 35. The Hype Bros was a thing for a little bit. But yeah, man, I mean, I'd say I'd go Jericho and Cardona on this one. Let's see what else we have here. Nigerian Prince.
Deonna Purrazzo. There you go. There's one.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
See, I'm here for the hipster picks.
There we go. Nigerian Prince. I'm really looking forward to Money in the Bank. It's going to be fire. And Phil, congrats, bro, on the SoCal commentary debut. Way to hustle, brother. I appreciate that, man. Yes. MPW, Millennium Pro Wrestling. I was there Friday night in Southern California with Mike Wexler. Great guy. We had a lot of fun calling those matches. Yeah. Brandon, when you coming down to SoCal with us, man?
I don't know. When are you guys gonna pay me?
Pay you for what?
I don't know.
I'm
talking a handshake.
You get behind the wheel, brother, and you got to pay your dues, brother.
Brother.
Yeah. Dan, guys, if LA Knight, doesn't win Money in the Bank this weekend, would it be yet another huge missed opportunity by WWE? Talk about that once we get to Money in the Bank. Jack of all trades, Danielson versus Okada was one for the ages. It was very good. It was very, very good. No Mr. X this week, so let's go into Forbidden Door. Sonata retains against Jungle Boy, then Jungle Boy turns heel. I like that.
Yeah, I mean the match. I forget if I said it on here, but I was wondering what the crowd was going to react to Sonata, just because in Japan, he's getting a push. Obviously, he's the IWGP champion, but I just don't really see him as like that top guy that everyone's kind of fallen in love with, and I think that kind of played out in Toronto. Like the hardest of the hardcore fans were there, and you could hear a pin drop during that match, and they weren't being Japanese respectful either. But yeah, the match was like okay, probably like one of the lower matches on the show, but it definitely did pick up with the Jungle Boy heel turn. Wasn't a shock. We kind of saw it coming. I really loved how Taz played it up. He didn't go over the top, but he played just enough into it to where, he really got the angle over. I have my doubts, to be honest, about what Jungle Boy can be as a heel. He's an undersized guy who doesn't cut very good promos. So how much can you get out of that? I don't know, but maybe if you turn him heel, drop the Jungle Boy act, get him more as a real person, maybe turn that around and he can be a better babyface in like 2 or 3 years.
This is a possibility. He did need a change. He needed a drastic change. He says he wants to win gold by the end of this year. This could be the way to do so, and I'm not opposed to it.
Maybe he gets the FTW title and just like throws it away, and we can kind of get one last title off AEW.
I mean, it's not like nobody's really, like.
I mean, the FTW is probably the least of my worries because it's not like really a championship, and it's only been held by Ricky Starks and Hook. So.
And Brian Cage.
Oh yeah, Brian Cage still with the company. Who?
Come on, man.
Oh well, isn't he with our? Is he an ROH guy or is he technically AEW still?
He's a Ring of Honor Elite guy.
Of course. How could I forget?
He's a ROHE.
Tony Khan's best friend, Brian Cage.
I thought Tony Khan's best friend was Colt Cabana.
I don't know.
But what else happened at Forbidden Door? What else is on the list here? We're not going to go over the whole card because we're not doing that here. MJF retains. He preset a tweet 12 minutes in advance saying that he probably would have beaten Tanahashi by then. That was funny. He got it. Called Bryce Remsburg a dipshit. Yep, fun stuff by Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
Yeah, a lot of shtick in this match. It was fun. Tanahashi, I mean, God bless him. It's kind of a hard watch at this point. And it's almost Randy the Ram status, I would say at this point. I
Is that
mean,
a
the announcers
wrestler
kind of
reference?
shout out. I
Look
mean,
at you.
the announcers, shout out Philip's favorite play-by-play guy, Excalibur. Trying to make
Don't ever insult me like that again.
saying that, oh, it's because the different style turnbuckles is the reason why Tanahashi's struggling to get up on the ring. I mean, he did the same thing on Collision, and he fell off, and I think that
You
wasn't
really
supposed to
said
happen.
that?
Yeah,
That's a nice.
because New Japan has the boxing style turnbuckles where kind of the whatever the actual turnbuckle or the corner is completely exposed, so you have more footing or whatever. But I mean, Tanahashi's knees are kind of shot, his back is shot. He's been going so hard for like the past 15 plus years at this point, and he never really took time off. And I think all of those injuries are kind of catching up to him, especially within like the last year or two. And I mean, it sucks, but he still can kind of get the crowd behind him, and he can be mobile enough. I mean, we saw him and Okada wrestle in San Jose, and it was kind of
cool.
More the same. It was perfectly fine, but you can't have those higher expectations like you used to like 4 or 5 years ago.
Excalibur really said that? The turnbuckles? I mean, I think the greatest commentary save of all time was at a Saudi show when Jinder wrestled Jeff Hardy for the U.S. title. Do you remember what Corey Graves said when
wasn't it like the humidity or something?
No, it was. So Jeff misses the whisper in the wind, and Jinder bumps anyway. Corey Graves is like, oh, the vibrations from the ring made Jinder lose his balance. Great save, fantastic. Which is true, man. Which is true. You're in there, man. It happened to me. It happened to me last night.
It's like a bouncy house in there.
Hey, brother. It is. Let's see what else happened in Forbidden Door. Ospreay and Omega. I hear this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. This is a true masterclass of professional wrestling. It's cool.
I mean, really fun match. Definitely gonna be on the Cassies for match of the year. I think it definitely has to be. It was an absolute fantastic match. Blood, flippy doos, and hard hitting. My one qualm, which I will say, I will complain about a match. I'll complain about everything, as you guys all know.
You complaining about Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay?
I know, but they had
who are you, me?
They had Don Callis, there with his two goons. The goons didn't do anything, which I'm okay with.
Yeah,
just let them wrestle, but Don Callis gets kicked out and then he comes back.
No, bro. I get you're trying to tie that in. Honestly, you should just let them two go out there and just do it, man.
Yeah, and I agree with that, but I don't like him getting ejected and then coming back in. Like, you could have just done the bit of Don Callis just being there the entire time, but not getting involved. And then he gets involved at the very, very end. You can do the same finish, which I like the finish because it wasn't, Don Callis gets involved, but it wasn't because he got involved is the reason Kenny lost. He kicked out of the screwdriver spot. And then the Tiger Driver 91, which everyone's talking about. And I mean, it looked absolutely fucking brutal. Kenny seems like he's fine, so good for him.
I saw a tweet of somebody dissecting how he landed. Kenny Omega is such a great performer. He took the brunt of the impact on his left shoulder, but somehow made it look like he landed directly on his head. What a master of the art form. That's what the tweet said.
Well, I mean, I hope that's the case, because if he can take it all on his shoulder and not, get paralysis from it, then good for him.
Yeah, no, for real.
Shout out the kick out at 1. He protects his own finisher, kicking out of the One Wing Angel at 1. I think I'm kind of happy it's not overdone, but I think the kick out at 1, we see it a lot. I think with New Japan stuff is just so great when you can kind of take it to that next level and the guy kicks out at 1 and hulks up.
If you've gone psychology wise, if you've gone for that long and then all of a sudden you can just have this burst of energy and kick out at 1.
But usually what happens is they kick out at 1 and then that goes right into the finish. It's like, I give you everything I had. I give you this burst of energy. And then after that, I'm kind of done. And then he ends up losing. That's usually kind of what happens. I kind of think of Ishii, of someone who's done that a couple times.
Shout out Ishii.
Shout out our boy Ishii.
I'm going to give a shout out to Daniel Garcia hitting his dance in that match for the was it the international title or the television title was on the line?
It was the international title. I thought that match was a lot of fun as well. I think it's an underrated match that kind of kicked off the string of good matches on the show. I do wish it was just, Cassidy and Shibata or Cassidy and Zack Sabre Jr., but I thought Dana Garcia and, everyone involved played their parts well.
Tony Storm defeated Willow Nightingale and called her a cow. How do you feel about that?
Did you call her a cow during the press conference? Because I didn't see the press conference.
No, it was after the match,
Oh well, didn't see that part, but the match itself I thought was good. The crowd was kind of dead at the beginning, but then I thought the ladies really picked it up later and kind of got the crowd behind them. Probably did help that they got rid of the Outcast, which once again, why are the baby faces who have been in a feud with these women forever still are not bringing out the cavalry? At the end of the match, we saw Sky Blue and Britt Baker disgusted that Tony Storm won. Like, why didn't you guys just come out with Willow and help her? Like, she didn't lose because of the Outcast, but once again, baby faces being stupid.
Well, maybe she was like, no, I want to handle this on my own. But like, we don't know. But
you should know at this point, Tweedledee, Tweedledum, and Willow whatever are going to be all together.
Willow, she wants to, handle it on her own. Like, look,
she wants to see the best in people.
Yes, all that. Like, no, I got this. She has some pride. You know what I mean? After the press conference, Jericho challenged Darby and Sting to Guevara versus the Painmaker,
and then he busted a reporter open by hitting the water bottle with the baseball bat.
Love it. Danielson and Okada.
Tony Khan shelled out the big bucks to get the final countdown.
Yes, he
Fantastic.
did. Yeah, looks like the Guns aren't getting many men now because there was a lot of money spent.
A lot of monies, but I thought the match was really fun. Technically sound. The crowd was kind of dead at the end. Obviously Ospreay and Omega, it's going to be hard to recover from that. So that did take it down a little bit, but I thought they were fantastic. Danielson
broke his arm,
breaking his arm on just on a simple elbow drop, and that just kind of shows you, like, we can sit here and complain and talk about Tiger Driver 91's breaking someone's neck. Danielson broke his arm on an elbow drop, which doesn't even supposed to go on his arm, and he ends up wrestling for another 10 minutes like a psychopath.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen the X-ray. Brie Garcia, his wife posted it. Hey man, the American Dragon is as tough as they come. It was like 15 years ago. He wrestled for like 30 minutes when he detached right now. I mean, this dude is unreal.
I do, obviously I don't want to wish injury on him, but I do wonder what was going to be the final 10 minutes, because I did watch it back, because when I watched it originally, I was like, oh, I couldn't tell. But then once you watch it again and kind of know what happened, you definitely could see Danielson grimacing and Shadow Grimace. Happy birthday, Grimace.
Have you got the Grimace meal from McDonald's?
I did, and I survived. I did not die.
What does this shake taste like?
It's like a blueberry, very blueberry.
A blueberry gimmick they have.
Yep.
Is it worth getting? Is the shake worth getting at least? If I just want the shake.
I mean, like, if you like fruity ice cream, I guess. Because I am more of like a strawberry guy.
I'm like do you like sherbet ice cream? Are you a sherbet guy? Like I
love sherbet. Go
it's a
there,
healthier,
get the rainbow sherbet.
It's a healthier dessert. You don't feel as bad after you eat it.
I love a nice rainbow sherbet over at Clancy's. Shout out Clancy's.
Where's Clancy's? Where's it?
It's at the marina over by where Porky Pizza's is. It's right across the street from that.
Over by where?
Porky's Pizza. You don't know Porky's Pizza?
What? We talk about Porky's? Where the fried chicken is?
Yeah. It's right across the street, right by that 7-Eleven.
And right by that Ryan's. Shout out Ryan's. I frequent there, every Sunday night. Why don't you pull up, bro?
You go to the bars and you go to the Porky's, but you don't go to the Clancy's.
I really just started hanging out over there like last year, and not in the daytime. I've only been over there in the daytime once to go to Porky's.
If you really want to be a fat ass, you got to get the Shamrock Sundae.
Okay, I see. You a fan of the Porky's chicken?
I do. I like it. You got to try the fried raviolis.
Fried ravioli. I mean, Porky's, bro. I mean, like, you get 2 pieces of chicken, some dinner bread, and then some fries, some potato wedges, like $7. You're not beating that anywhere else. You're not.
Everybody, if you guys are in the San Leandro Manor area, go check out Porky's, and then afterwards, go get some Clancy's, and then afterwards, go to Ryan's and just get obliterated.
Yes, go to Ryan. Cash only though. The cash only at Ryan's. Go chill with my homie DJ Slap. You know, he be doing DJ parties over there and whatnot. Let's go to Monday Night Raw. Finn Balor defeats Carmelo Hayes. Finn Balor had a video package play. Very, very good. You know, this was excellent. This is just fun. I like this Finn Balor. This is a different Finn Balor. Is this Finn Balor more important than the Prince? Than the Prince version that we got in NXT a couple years ago?
Probably not, just because this. I do like this Finn Balor, giving him a little more of an edge, but
Edge.
Whoop,
He got more of an edge.
Once again, he doesn't kind of have the baggage of the past few years of him losing and not doing a whole lot. But I thought the match was really good, but I don't know about having Carmelo Hayes out there losing to. I mean, like, I get it. Braun Breaker did it. We're gonna sit here in 3 years and kind of remember, like, oh yeah, remember he had that match against Finn Balor. But I just think, like, in a bubble, I don't think you should have your NXT champion out there like losing. Like, even if it's a competitive match against a top guy, it could have been somebody else. And also, I keep harping on it, but the main roster viewers goes out there, says he's in a title match against Baron Corbin, and then he goes out there and loses. Does I really? I mean, I don't know if the numbers have dropped yet, but I don't know if that's going to get people hyped to see a Carmelo Hayes championship match.
Well, the numbers did all right from what I hear, so it worked, brother.
So those collision numbers, those did not work.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. Cody and Dom Dom have a promo. Cody's reciting Cat in the Hat and calls Dom Dom a scared little boy. Dom's like, you know what, F this. Yeah, so this is it. I'm excited. I'm really excited for this match.
It's a good little mini feud for Cody before he does presumably Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. So I think they haven't like fully like played up it's not like Dom. I mean, there's always some like chicken shit heel stuff with Dominic, but they're not playing it up as like, oh, Dominic is just terrible wrestler and keeps running away from Cody, and Cody is going to, it's not like the wrestler versus the manager type match.
It's not. It is not. What else is there? We have Miz attacking Ciampa, so they're gonna have a little feud. That's nice.
Good little thing first for Ciampa. Wondering what is going on with Johnny Gargano, because a month or two ago he was like, oh yeah, we're gonna have him come back, obviously referring to Ciampa. Ciampa's back now, and now Gargano's not here, so
I have no idea. Maybe he still.
I mean, that would be like a great thing. I know it's babyface, but DIY Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, yes please.
Maybe he still lost to Stockton Con, man. Stockton Con has Danhausen coming in, brother.
What?
Yes. So you know what we have to do.
Love that Danhausen.
We gotta go make a Stockton Con appearance real quick.
I think my boy Tyler has to come with us too. He loves himself some Danhausen.
Oh.
Give him all the monies.
All the monies. All right. Speaking of money, it is Money in the Bank time, baby. They are in the O2 in London, England, the UK. Let's get it started. Title is on the line, and of course, this is we got the Bully Cast in the Bank going on. Don't forget about that, baby. Don't forget about that. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter. I'll just walk out with both of them, even though it's not mathematically possible. I'll figure out a way.
I'm the most winningest Bully Cast in the Bank person in history.
That means you're just really good at finishing second place.
Hey. That's the lady I was with last night. If I finished in second place, hello. Let's get into it.
Wouldn't that be a good thing if you finish second?
So, Zelina Vega versus Becky Lynch versus Zoe Stark versus Bayley versus Io Sky versus the WWE Hall of Famer Trish Stratus. Money in the Bank ladder match. Trish's first ladder match. Bayley's been in one of these before. She's won. Becky's been in this before, hasn't gotten the victory. I'm going Io Sky. I'm going the Genius of the Sky.
I'll go Io as well. I don't know. I don't really see Becky winning. I mean, I don't really see Bayley winning. Maybe Zoe. Don't really see Trish. I could possibly see Zelina because they do, like, especially with the women, they do kind of like to have those really underdog type wrestlers just kind of come in and win at like the last second. But
yeah,
I do think Io is kind of like a good choice. You can kind of further cement the split between her and Bailey, and go. She can do whatever she wants because I think
well,
Io
I mean,
is a fantastic wrestler.
I think what we'll do is, we'll just have, Bailey kind of tell her like, hey, you don't want to cash it in like this, you want to do it like this. I think we can do something like that. It'd be a little fun. Lead to the dissension, and then possibly get a match at SummerSlam between the two.
Maybe.
Maybe. All right, Gunther, the Intercontinental Champion, takes on Matt Riddle. Now, Gunther and Matt Riddle had a series of matches on the Indies back in 2018, 2017. Good stuff. I'm going Gunther though. It's not even a question.
I do wonder how long they can keep this Gunther thing going because he's been really good, and I wonder
the matches back it up, man. As long as these matches are fantastic, we can go for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not complaining. I mean, him and Riddle on paper, one of the best matches I think you can have with Gunther. So hopefully they and that London crowd is going to be smart and they know what's going on. So as long as it's kind of put relatively early or like not a palate cleanser type
open
spot,
with,
I think this match will be really good. But I will go with Gunther.
Yes. Gunther. Let's see what else we got. Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler defend the undisputed WWE Women's Tag Team Championships against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. I'm going Ronda and Shayna.
I will go Ronda and Shayna as well. I know, get in, get out. No, hopefully no one gets hurt. That's all we can ask for.
That is true. Hopefully nobody gets hurt because that's all we really want, right? Right, Brandon?
That's all we can ask for.
That is all we can ask for. Yes. All right. Next up on the list, let's see. Cody Rhodes versus Dominic Mysterio. This is interesting, man. Dom needs a win, though. He needs a big win.
Give it to him.
I'm going Dom.
All right. I don't hate that pick, to be honest. You've been very quiet on the Brock Lesnar front. But I will take the bait.
I see that music hits or however it goes. You know what I mean?
I will take the bait and I will have Cody wins. It seems very easy. Like it's straightforward. He should win, but it's almost too easy.
No, man. I mean, like him taking some losses, it helps him keep this because like the fans haven't turned on him. Like how would somebody they just win, you're like, all right, I'm getting sick and tired of this. You know what I mean? Like the Roman loss got him even more sympathy to finish the story. Then he lost to Brock, which was good. And then lost to Dom.
And people are still complaining, saying Cody should have won a WrestleMania.
Exactly. And then people will be complaining 10 years from now that Cody should have beat Dominic in London, England.
Yep.
Yeah.
Even though Brock Lesnar will come out in costume and I mean, I don't think if Dominic wins, it's not going to be a straight up match. Obviously, there's going to be some sort of interference, probably from Brock. I think it has to be Brock. Like if it's a Judgment Day helping him, that gets no heat. But if it's Brock, there's more. It's not going to be as revolted or whatever will happen.
Yeah. Let's see. Seth freaking Rollins defends the World Heavyweight Championship against Finn Balor. Look, Finn, he's been so aggressive these last few weeks, and I love it. But Seth is walking out champ.
Agreed. I think Seth wins. Now, this is going to depend on the match order, obviously, but they do like having one champion getting cashed in on the Money in the Bank show. And there's
we don't do that this year. How about we just don't do that?
There's no women's title matches on this card. So that
you don't have Seth. If he loses it like here, then it just takes away from the moment.
It kind of leads to, the story they've been telling of Finn being very vicious, Seth's ribs kind of hanging on by a thread. I mean, I say Finn wins, but I know I'm not going to get points for this. I will complain if I end up losing later if I get this right, but I'm also going to say we're going to get a cash in on Seth as well.
Okay. Now let's go to the Money in the Bank match. Ricochet, Shinsuke Nakamura, LA Knight. Yeah. Santos Escobar, Butch, Damian Priest, and Logan Paul. Now here's what I want to talk about. What I heard on Sam Roberts. Logan Paul wins the Money in the Bank contract. Like LA Knight is almost there. He's almost there. But Logan Paul does a crazy dive or something, lands on the ladder, and he wins. And then this is how you capitalize on the cheers for LA Knight, because people don't like Logan Paul right now. They don't. They don't. Great performances, but they don't like him. This is how you turn him a completely babyface. You know, you have him feud with Logan Paul, and you have them go to SummerSlam and have LA Knight get a big win over Logan Paul. Logan Paul, he has the briefcase. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. Now, I've also heard people say Logan Paul doesn't need the briefcase because he is the briefcase. But I mean, come on, man. And this, because like the Money in the Bank contract has kind of become a crutch for some people. You know, it kind of happened to Theory last year and everything like that. For Logan Paul being Mr. Money in the Bank, you know, he can go away. And when he comes back, like, oh, wait, that's right. You know, he has that briefcase and things like that.
So you're going with Logan Paul to get the Dubski.
I mean, did I say he was going to be in this? Like, I mean, I said it as a joke, but here we are.
I'm not opposed to Logan Paul winning. I think it comes down to the three favorites. I think the two favorites are LA Knight and Logan Paul. A little bit of a drop off, and then it's Damian Priest. Bigger drop off and kind of everybody else. I will go with LA Knight to get the win. And so then I will also go and say an LA Knight cashes in, wins against Seth Rollins later in the show, which, I mean, that the pop for that I think would be massive if LA Knight were to win the world championship. And you can kind of keep, I mean, I don't know what their plan would be with this. If they want to keep him heel for a little bit or turn him face because of this. I mean, Money in the Bank has always been just a heel gimmick. And so I think it's kind of hard to turn him face right now, but I mean, the crowd loves him regardless. So I think this plays perfectly into my plan. If you're going to take Logan Paul, I will take LA Knight. Yeah. And he's going to cash in and be the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
Like how?
Like how? What?
You got to hit the yeah again.
So yeah, LA Knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we get Dummy. Yeah. Dummy.
Oh, you're taking back to the fact of life. Dummy. Yeah. Yeah. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. My family is going to war. It is a bloodline civil war. The Usos take on Solo Sikoa and the undisputed WWE Universal Heavyweight Champion, the Tribal Chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns. I got Roman and Solo.
Last time I checked, this is a tag team match.
Yeah, no, Roman doesn't lose 2 pay-per-views in a row. That just doesn't happen.
And the Usos are a tag team. The Ultimate Tag Team. They were a tag team in the womb together. They've been together forever. So give me the Usos for the win. Propel us into SummerSlam, whatever the hell they're doing.
All right, I see. We have picked it up. Ladies and gentlemen, we will recap Money in the Bank Sunday, Monday, something like that. I don't know. Thank you guys so much. We love you as always. Be safe and stay dangerous. Yes, sir.
Ain't nobody better. Look. Yeah. Listen to us every time we live in the side. When you turn it on, it's just defining the mind. If you feel it, our opinions is great. When everything we moving now in the state, turn us on. If the feeling is right, every opinion now comes from the heart. No time we move with a part. We on the radio, it's wrestling. Time's aggression. Here is the feeling in the pool. Get the lesson. And if you want to prove it to you now, here's the feeling in the time and everything that we did. Listen to the senators connecting it. Moving on everything that's pronouncing it. Everything we did in the time now with the testament. Here is the feeling when we live on the stage. And everything we do, turning the page. Nobody doesn't like us. The feeling when we move, we are excited. Elite podcasting. I know you like it. Yeah, the Bullet Cast. Fearless. The Bullet Cast. Fearless. The Bullet Cast. Fearless. Elite podcasting. We are.
This has been the Bulletcast. Thank you for listening.